Welcome to Sing Scarlett and Shelby here with Tyler for our Monday recap episode. We have soccer. Don't worry, we're going to get into those silly little committee rankings that came out. We'll do that in just a second to kick off the show. A lot of questions came in about that. And then we're going to recap the TCU draw on Friday. Great crowd. Thank y'all for hearing the call and coming out. Y'all were great. The crowd was awesome. Be back at the end of the month when the team comes back. So good work there. We're going to get into football's big win. They just keep doing the dang thing, Tyler. Just keep off. We're also going to preview soccer's, obviously, their game on Thursday on the road. And then touch on softball's Odessa College scrimmage that happened earlier today that we were both at. Some fun stuff there. If you want to catch this team and you haven't yet, their last scrimmage is Tuesday. So tomorrow, as you're watching this, or maybe today, Tuesday, the 14th of October at 7 p.m. is the last time you can watch them scrimmage this fall. Last time you see them play until the spring. So go out there and do that if you haven't yet. A lot of fun there. And that's kind of the gist of what we're going to get into today, Tyler. Any thoughts you want to get into before we jump into everything?
Yeah, it was just a great weekend for Texas Tech sports and the NCAA. I don't know what's going on with your top 16. Usually it's great for other sports, but soccer, we kind of missed the mark. But we can get into that.
Yeah, just briefly. Here's my thing. It's not really a Texas Tech thing. I want to make that clear because I think in some ways the committee's rankings are good for Texas Tech. Hear me out on that briefly, but there's four Big 12 teams in the top 10. And some people are saying they're going by top 50 RPI wins and all these things. And if that's true, Texas Tech has 4 or 5 top 50 RPI opportunities left in the regular season, not to mention the amount they're going to get in the Big 12 tournament. You'll just vault yourself up there if they follow this formula. But they have to stay consistent. That is the word that frustrates me with the NCAA, is the lack of consistency across their RPI and their polling system makes the sport look like a joke. And if the NCAA doesn't take themselves seriously, why would any fans take them seriously that are trying to become fans of the game? Do they want to promote their sport? Do they want to grow the game? I don't think they care, because you can't have the number 3 team in the country in the NCAA poll not be anywhere in the top 16 from the NCAA committee thing that comes out. One of those has to be wrong. I kind of lean that maybe the coaches poll is pretty messed up. Do I think Stanford is needs to be seeded? We just found out today. I mean, they beat the number 2 team in the country. There's a world that Stanford's the number 1 team on Tuesday when the poll comes out, which is going to be hilarious when the NCAA has to tweet that. But they should be in there. But if they're going by RPI wins, they only had 1 or 2, whatever. I get it. But that's the problem, is one section's going by this set of criteria. Lord knows what this coaches poll, United coaches poll, it's not even all the coaches, I don't think. It's just like a collection of them in regions, and they're playing chess when they shouldn't be with the polling system. And it doesn't make sense, and it's hard for fans to get into a sport when the information put out by the governing body lies to them all the time. Like, can you imagine, Tyler, a world in which the number 3 team in the coaches poll in football wasn't anywhere to be found in the first college football playoff rankings that come out?
Yeah.
Can you imagine in a world where the number 3 team in basketball wasn't in, say, the top 16 or a top 4 seed when the committee put out their first rankings? No, they might not be number 3. They might be somewhere down the list, and there's argument. That's fine. But there's no world in which in another sport that would be allowed, because people have standards, and they don't want to be lied to, and they want to be able to trust the polling system. People get mad at the AP every once in a while because some random voter will have a horrible ballot, but overall, there's so many people voting that it checks and balances itself out. There's nothing like that for soccer, and it's so frustrating to follow, and it's so frustrating as someone who cares about the sport. The only reason this freaking podcast exists is so we can cover these teams like they're sports, because they are, and not like side shows. Like, feels like that's what the NCAA is treating soccer as. Like, okay, cool, like y'all can do whatever you want to with the rankings, we'll take it. The committee, y'all can do whatever you want to with putting them in the tournament. You can have completely different standards. It's fine. Like, I don't know. It's just frustrating, and if they don't start taking themselves seriously, they don't have a give a damn factor to them, people are never going to take your sport seriously. So that's my message to the NCAA. Like, get it together. As far as Texas Tech, I think the opportunities are there. So, like, I think it'll work itself out. as long as there's no brand bias. Now, I did a little blind ranking thing on Twitter. I know Tyler responded to it. And I still think Texas Tech should have been in the top 16 based on this whole top 50 RPI criteria. I think they probably would have been 15th or 16th in my rankings going by that criteria, but I think they should have been in there. And they put maybe some more brand heavy teams in there instead. If you had FSU next to Texas Tech's resume, they would have been in there. If you had BYU next to Texas Tech's resume, even they would have been in there. It's because it's Texas Tech and not like a blue blood of the sport that we kind of get left out. So I could go on that rant for a while, but it's so early in the season. Like, I'm not really too hung up on the Texas Tech being left out part, if I'm being honest. It's the bigger overall picture of the NCAA just continuing to not give a shit about the sport that they govern and allowing these representations from the polling system to everything. It's a joke. Like, it would be the lead story on every news show if the number 3 team in football or basketball was not selected by the committee. And in soccer, they just start posting new highlights on their feed like it never happened. And it's frustrating. So I'll leave it there.
You really hit the nail on the head there. I mean, it is really disappointing. I mean, like, yeah, when you look at these other sports, sure, maybe the committee misses out on, this team should be a 1 seed, but then, when they do the final tournament bracket, they become a 2 seed. Like, that stuff's fine. Like, that's what happens all the time.
Yeah.
But you can't have a team that is literally ranked that high, as in Stanford, for example, at number 3, and then they're not even in the top 16. I mean, that's ridiculous. And then, as you said, concerning Texas Tech, like, yeah, I agree. Our opportunities are ahead there. But when we did the blind ranking challenge, I mean, you look at that and all the wins, top 50 wins that we had. Yeah, I mean, I think for sure I knew I picked Tech because that was B, because we beat the number 4 and the number 15 team in top 50 RPI, and then we drew with the number 16, which was TCU. Yep. So clearly, I mean, we should have been in there. But again, we have more opportunities on the way. And it's just kind of like that, blue blood versus new blood thing. And I think that this committee needs to see that Texas Tech is going to be a new blood in college soccer, a comeback new blood, because we were one prior to COVID, and now we're getting our stride back on it. In the past, this is going to probably likely be 3rd year in a row that we make the NCAA tournament, and hopefully we're a higher seed. So it's like, you just expect better and just not have these brand biases. And you just need to take a look at the bigger picture and just compare how each conference is doing. Because the Big 12 is doing great right now. And we have wins, and we're going to have a lot more wins and a lot more opportunities against these Big 12 opponents. And you can't just leave them out. I mean, what are you going to do? We win the Big 12, and then you're going to leave out the Big 12 champion from being a top 4 seed and hosting? That's ridiculous. So
well,
you need to figure out this criteria.
The thing is, you need to be a top 2 seed to host past the first round, because remember, you host rounds 2 and 3, and so there's a really good path for Texas Tech to do that based on who they have in the top 10 right now. You have 2 teams sitting in those seats. They have Baylor as a 1 seed right now, so we beat a 1 seed in their rankings, and they're like, not even in the top 16, which is whatever again. But all I'm saying is, don't switch up, be consistent. And so I'm sure, I don't know, maybe the players don't care about this stuff. Hopefully they don't look at it. But I would hope they look at it and say, okay, bet. That's what I would say. I think that's what I said on Twitter, on social media. Like, okay, bet. If that's their criteria, well, we play Colorado. That's a top 10 opportunity coming up. And everybody else, except for maybe one team that we're going to play coming up, is in the top 50. Okay, so it's top 50 RPI opportunity. You could have 6 top 50 RPI wins if you went out by the end of the season. That would vault you to like the top of the group of however many they have, right? Like, you would pass Baylor, you'd probably pass some others. So the opportunities are there for us. So I can't complain too much, but it's consistency between the rankings from this. So if the committee like next week switches up and now they've overcorrected because they got shit about Stanford and they're like going away from their policies and now it's going to hurt us, I'm like, okay, just like pick a lane is all I would like. So we'll find out how they go. I don't really want to rant on it too much more because it's October 12th and that stuff will work itself out. Again, it's the polls that I've always been annoyed with. And this was just hilarious to me. It's going to be hilarious on Tuesday when the NCAA has to post a tweet that Stanford is the new number 1 team in the country because they took down their current number 1 team today. And 2 days prior, they didn't even have Stanford in their top 16. It's 2 separate things, but that's my point, is that would never fly in any other sport. People would laugh hysterically. And the ones in the soccer world are, but there's just like not enough people doing it for them to care. But I'm going to rant about it to anybody that listens. So that's that. Moving on. On Friday, according to the NCAA, we got a draw with the number 5 team in the country. Seems pretty solid to me. And more importantly, I think we should have beaten the number 5 team per the NCAA in the country. A 2 seed in their rankings in the tournament right now. I thought I don't know if we controlled possession on the chart by the end, but I thought we controlled chances. We outshot TCU 15-5. TCU just got us on a corner, a beautiful corner. Morgan Brown, we talked about her in our preview. She's just big. She's 6 foot, and she jumped up there and got a corner against us. And that was kind of like they got like 3 in a row. In that one moment, it just felt like, okay, you're playing with fire, and they got it done. But man, we had chance after chance after chance, and Raleigh Greason made the banger to start the game. Almost followed Tyler's script that he predicted perfectly with getting a run-of-play goal, and then there was a couple of set pieces in the second half where it felt like, man, we're really close, and we had multiple chances in front of goal that I think the team would want back, and they kind of said that after the game. They were proud of themselves. They know TCU is really good, and they felt like they played better than them, and that shows the quality of this team and who they can be. They just felt like they let it get away a little bit, but they still got a point out of it, and you kind of move forward. So, 7th largest crowd in Texas Tech soccer history, 1,700 people basically. You get out of there with a point. You're in 2nd place now, 1 point behind Baylor, who you beat. We're going to take care of business as we move forward, but that's my quick recap. Tyler, take it away, and then we can show highlights, and we'll dive into it a little bit more in depth after that.
Yeah, first, I think it would be appropriate to thank Red Raider Nation. We had so many things that were going on in Lubbock, and y'all chose to attend the soccer game, and I think that that's really cool that y'all really showed out and supported the team. 7th largest crowd. That's very impressive. You were competing with the Bonfire, the Flatline Concert, high school football, Love Island contestants going to the bars. Nick. Just like the most insane things that you're like, this can't all be happening.
Did TCU plan this? Did TCU get Flatland here? Did TCU schedule Nick? What is going on? No,
you just don't know what's going on. But yeah, no, y'all definitely came in clutch. And the crowd was hype and rowdy. And I totally agree. We had the better chances. Yes, TCU won the possession battle, and that's what they do, and it's my least favorite type of soccer to be played. But at the same time, when you're playing that possession battle, I still think we did have way more looks, and we did have way more better looks, and we technically probably could have came out on top of this one. It's just we fell short sometimes, and we're just kind of missing the mark on goals and things like that. But that's just kind of how it is in the possession battle, and it gets frustrating because it's like you missed that one opportunity that you could have scored a goal, and now we're back watching TCU just kind of play hot potato with the soccer ball until we can finally clear it, and then it turns into corner kicks, and then you get 3 in a row, and then it just kind of all spirals from there. But to start off, thank you, Raleigh, for starting off the hype train.
Absolute banger. You're gonna see it in the highlights.
She was on it.
One of the best goals you'll see all year.
She was running around, chasing everybody. She had the most energy out of everyone on our team. And everyone had energy, but
Peyton Parsons.
She really
I would put Peyton Parsons up there.
Peyton too.
But yes,
they both gave 110%. Insane. Insanity. But glad that she was able to get that goal against a really, really good TCU team. And shout out to TCU's goalkeeper because, oh my God, it was very frustrating. I was getting tired of her, but she stopped us. She figured it out. She couldn't do it against Raleigh, but everyone else, it was like, dang.
Nobody was stopping Raleigh's shot.
I know. But
yeah, I think, she made some great saves, especially on Raleigh, almost had the winner on another one. She dove and knocked it out, and she didn't just knock it out. If you watch the replay, which I'm sure that one will be in there, she knocked it out, but like so barely. It's like almost you wish she had gotten more of a hand on it because it would have bounced right to Sky. She was there, but it's like she didn't even get enough hand on it that it just kind of trickled out of bounds instead. And you're like, damn it, if you could just like block that a little better, actually, we would have scored on the rebound. It was just like bad luck the way that happened, and that's how soccer goes sometimes. And then Peyton had one off the crossbar with about 4 minutes. That was our last really good chance. I think Macy came up with about 2 minutes left. That was the last time we had possession. She got a good cross, and TCU was doing a really good job of just like chaotic defense in the box, but it was working. Like they were just like, you know, you play foosball. Both teams were really doing this, and it just felt like when a ball was on the ground in the box, both teams were just like kicking. Like there was like no rhyme or reason to it. Both teams were shooting or trying to clear, like because they know how dangerous it is. Both teams can finish there, and they did a good job on that one of just like getting it the hell out of the way. Because Raleigh was there for that Macy cross too. So it's just two really good teams playing, and I know Tyler's frustrated, but I'm like the opposite in the way that felt like a postseason game, and I was like, we were in that. Like that's a really good team. That's like, I mean, again, that's a 2 seed, 1 spot away from being a 1 seed in the NCAA's rankings right now. And we should have beaten them, right? Like that is the quality of soccer that was on the field on Friday night. And we were right there. Molly Skrasinski, I thought she was going to be big in this game. Again, she's big in every game, but she had a lot of space to work and she took it and she up and down. I got to talk to her in the post game. You can go read the article, and Tom talked about her too and just said, yeah, she's a key cog for us every night, but she was everywhere tonight on the attacking end, on the defensive end. He's like, there's not a lot of players that can do that. He said Macy, obviously, but Molly's just one of those. Her endurance is insane. Her speed is insane. She was unstoppable. I think she's going to be big on Thursday because another team that likes this possession. There's a quick preview of the preview we'll do in a minute. Buckle in, Tyler. So she'll be big again, but Molly was great. And Peyton Parsons, we were both standing for a part of the game. We were standing next to each other, and she was making these defensive plays, Tyler.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't mean this in a negative way, and I said it to Tom in the postgame. I was like, I've never seen Peyton Parsons that involved defensively. And he said, yeah, she was like brilliant 1v1 defending. And he was saying that usually, you know, Peyton wants to like outmuscle a defender. Like in a 1v1 moment, she just wants to outstrength you. And you saw her try to do that a couple of times where she just boxed him out and she won. But in this one, she was also just like great one-on-one, moving with them, blocking shots, winning balls, and taking it the other way. She stopped Seven Castaigne one time on the outside. She stopped Cam Patton multiple times on the outside. Like that's our attacking mid that somehow was getting down in the corner with these really good players and stopping them. And if Peyton Parsons plays that way on both ends for the rest of the year, we're going to be a very good soccer team. Like that's the level that you need from somebody in our midfield, right? And you saw Molly do it, you saw Peyton do it. Like that stuff wasn't really encouraging to me. The way we were combining in this game was beautiful, like beautiful soccer. We just couldn't, that last bit, we couldn't finish. And then their keeper made some ridiculous saves. So let's show you the highlights and then we'll kind of talk about it some more before we get into Arizona State. This is one of the early chances. Z turned and burned from deep. Just sent it a little bit wide of goal, but that was a good early chances 3 minutes in. We were already taking it. I don't know what she was upset at there, but I'll trust Z that she was in the right. I mean, Eleanor Hayes and Emily McCartney were great. I think this is Emily right here. Does a great job making it hard on Seven Castaigne, and Faith does the rest. Raleigh's, I'm going to back it up in case you missed it, because I'll be honest, I missed it live until I saw the replay. But Raleigh does her trademark little front flip throw in on this, and then the ball comes back to her. So she really got an assist to herself. They don't count it that way, but unassisted goal because it bounced back to her, and banger. They better show a replay. She said after the game that the coaches have been encouraging her because she's been in the right place in recent games and just barely missing shots like that. She's been working on that exact shot with her left foot in practice. So she got the space. She said, I just took it. It's what she's been doing in practice for weeks, and it worked. So Tom Stone said that she's a goal scorer. She's always been a goal scorer, and she's kind of just been working on figuring out the speed of game at this level. And maybe this will be something, if she gets going up top with Z to finish out the year, that's another thing that'll take us to another level. if she's doing stuff like this, because then they got to worry about her too. I mean, what is this? Sorcery! That freaking keeper almost blocked that too, but she couldn't get her full hand on it. Look at this. Just perfect placement. I mean, come on. Insanity. Took out the camera. Place was going bonkers. Like, big stuff. Let's see. I wish I could see who's over there. Is that Kylie? Oh, there's a big. That was Emily McCartney right there. Massive. They're about to score because this is that's the start of the 3 corners in a row. But if you don't have Emily McCartney, that's a goal right there. Anyway.
Oh yeah. For sure.
That was a great tackle. You give up that corner every time like that. You're not going to complain about that. Brilliant defensive play by her. We're going to survive whatever corner they're about to do, and then we survive another one, and then we don't survive the third, which I doubt is in the highlights. But look at this by Emily. Right here. She blocks this. Like, that's going goal.
Wow.
9 times. That's a goal. So they didn't show it. Like I said, now it's 1-1 in that little sequence. I believe it was 3 corners in a row. Is that what you remember too? It might have just been 2, but I think it might have been back.
No, I think it was 3 because that third one we were like questioning if it even was supposed to be.
Yeah, I'm sure they know by this point, but where we were sitting, I was like, I thought that was a throw-in. And we were like saying that as they're taking the corner, and then they scored on. I was like, of course, the one that we questioned on if it should have been a corner, but
right.
The team wasn't questioning it, so I assumed it was. But it was the right call. But yeah, Morgan Brown, 6-foot player for TCU, tall player. Kylie Barr had stopped her on a few corners, did what she could, and this one she actually had her marked pretty well, and she just kind of jumped higher and put it in a perfect spot. I think Molly Skarsinski in the postgame just said, I'll give her credit. That was a hell of a shot. A little bit unlucky. She said Kylie was guarding her well all game, and it just happens sometimes. So that's kind of how this game was. But Tom said that's kind of what TCU does, is you'll have them down, and then they'll find their way to a goal, and that's what they did against us. But we still had plenty of time to find the winner, and you felt like, okay, we're going to do that, and we had a lot of chances, even if we didn't have full possession. Every time we did have possession, it was great build-up. Good moments. Kylie and Peyton were great on the outside together. That gave me a little flashbacks to 2 years ago. They used to do that stuff. Oh, I shouldn't laugh. She got hurt. She came back in the game. This is Macy. No, that's Molly. Is that Macy? No, that was Molly. So yeah, that was an example of Molly just being ridiculous in this game. That was a great crossover. Well, I mean, look at that one. Just an inch off from Z being able to get that. That's the moment I was talking about to you before we started recording. That's the one that haunts me a little bit. Z was so close to getting her foot on that, and it bounces out. I don't know if they're going to show a replay, so I'm just going to go backwards. It bounces out to Peyton, and she misses like 6 inches. Yeah, it hits the post, and Peyton's right there, and she couldn't quite get full force on it. It was so close to going in the goal that the stands erupted, because from their angle, they all thought it went in, and we were like, what is this? Why are they cheering?
We're like, what are they doing?
And then we realized, they thought the goal went in, but that was the big chance. And then this is Peyton. Oh, not yet. Oh, that's Frawley. That was going in. They might show a replay of this. That was going in, and she knocked it, and she just didn't knock it quite enough for Sky to get to it. Otherwise, that would have been Hive. First, here it is. Like
inches.
Z again. We had chance after chance here for a little bit. This is Molly. Gets a shot on goal. Blocked it. Kylie gets a shot on goal. Right past the goal.
This is rage bait at this point. I mean, we're so close.
Stop it. Well, we have a couple more chances coming. At least one. I'm sure they're going to show Peyton's at the 4-minute mark, where she goes off the crossbar. Oh, this is another one before that. I don't even know what we're showing there, but there were so many of them I can't even remember. Oh, that's it. Off the crossbar from Peyton. That was a brilliant shot, really. Just kind of, it was headed to goal, and it just kind of like at the last second the spin took it up a little bit, but just wasn't meant to be, I guess, to get the full 3. But we'll get our chance back at them on their field, because they host the Big 12 tournament. Conveniently, them and Baylor share the Big 12 tournament host this year. We'll talk about that in a few weeks because I think that's outrageous. But anyway, we'll get to do it to them on their field in a few weeks, hopefully. And then we'll get to beat Baylor on their field again. It'll be great. Good times. But yeah, I'll show you this clip while we have it in here of Raleigh Greason, the goal scorer freshman, asked her and Molly both what their mindset was after this game, headed into a road trip, 3 games in a row. Her quote is an all-timer. We should have just started the show with that. I believe she says in here, "We're excited, we're a little angry." That sums up this game. But here is the full thing from the freshman.
This game, we're excited, we're a little angry, we're proud of ourselves, but we knew we could have maybe given a little more sometimes, and we should have won, I think. So just kind of going out on the road and 3 big games ahead of us and just winning those 3 and coming back and winning the rest. I mean, we're in the middle of the Big 12, so we have time, and right now we're looking really good, and we have so much more time to go. So.
Any last thoughts before we jump into Arizona State, who they have on Thursday? A late game because it's over in Arizona, but yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be an interesting next couple of weeks. October is where you win the Big 12, as we said, and it's going to be very important. There's going to be a lot of great Big 12 games this week that y'all need to pay attention to as we're in this battle for, the Big 12 title and trying to retake our spot back at the top. But overall, I mean, obviously, I'm going to take a draw over a loss any day, and there's still plenty of soccer to be played, so...
What I'll say is, because the Big 12 is so good this year, we've talked about that. The draws don't a draw against a top 5 team anyway is never a thing that you should get down about. But it's more exciting that you feel like you should beat them instead of surviving. I think Tom said something to that effect. You can go watch the full press conference. He's like, sometimes after these TCU games, like last year, 0-0, they're always knockdown, drag out fights. But sometimes I look at my team and they're just like, whew, glad we survived it. But he looked at his team tonight and it was like you could tell that we should have won that. And so it was a little bit of a different vibe, and I like that from the team. I do think they're getting better, and they're a much better team than they were this time last month, and they're going to need to be much better team this time in November. But the thing about Tom Stone teams that I can say with confidence and do every year is they always are playing their best soccer in November. But at least in recent years, you didn't have the benefit of doubts of say the ACC that you could kind of get away with that, where you could lose a couple points here or there and still have a really good seed in the NCAA tournament, so that when you were playing your best soccer, you could take advantage of that by having some home games. This year in the Big 12, you can get better week by week and be in a position when you get there that you could have a top 4 seed, maybe even a top 2 seed if they go crazy and win out and win the Big 12 tournament. Who knows? So it's just the luxury, and maybe there's less frustration about it because you don't feel like you just missed all your chances. In fact, Texas Tech, all your chances are in front of you. Again, 4 of your next 5 are top 50 RPI opportunities. One's in the top 10, a couple of top 30 ones. And then you have the Big 12 tournament where realistically only 8 teams make it. So everyone's going to be probably a top 40 team. You're going to get at least a top 40 matchup, and then you're probably going to get 2 top 20 matchups and potentially 2 top 10 matchups if you went out. So it's all ahead of them is all I would say to that is past years, I would be more frustrated because it's damn, that might have been our only chance. TCU might have been the only top team and we just missed it. That's not the case anymore. So that's kind of where we're at. I don't blame them for being a little bit angry. I like that they're a little bit angry, and I hope they carry that into Arizona State, who plays really well at home. Tyler, they've been on the road for 3 games where they kind of gotten tripped up, but I think they've only lost 1 game all year at home, and this is where their first game back after being on the road for a bit. So take it away. What do you got on the Arizona State Sun Devils?
Yeah, the Arizona State Sun Devils are 9-3-2 and then 2-3-1 in the Big 12, number 37 in the RPI as of today. Their biggest wins, which aren't really that big anymore because of just the way soccer's kind of played out, was they beat number 10 BYU 2-1, and you're probably like, well, what happened to BYU? Well, I'm asking the same question because you're just kind of
injuries, if we're being fair.
Yeah, injuries. I didn't know that they were getting injured. Well, sorry for them. Pepperdine, they beat them. They were receiving votes at the time. I don't think Pepperdine's anywhere near cracking the top 25 now. So those were their big wins, and that's when Arizona State started undefeated. I think they went non-con undefeated or something like that. It was a pretty big deal. for them and their program because they thought they were getting somewhere, but then they did get hit with some losses with UCF 2-3, West Virginia 0-2, and then number 24 Colorado 0-2. All three of those really great losses, I guess, to have. Those are all three great teams. I mean, everyone's really, those three are fighting with us and TCU and Baylor for that top spot right now. They did draw to Oklahoma State, which I thought was interesting, 0-0, and then they drew to Texas 1-1. Their main goal scorers and players, they kind of have people that are all over that fill up each category box. So their goal leader, Tatum Thomason, has 6 goals on the season. Cameron Valladares, I don't know how you say that.
She's good, but yeah,
she's very good. Yeah. She fills it in. I mean, she has 3 goals on the season. She leads the team in assists with 8. So she's probably up there as one of the assist leaders in the NCAA, right?
And yeah, she's one behind Macy for the Big 12 lead. So yeah, she's probably in the top 10 for NCAA.
So yeah, that's pretty good. 29 shots on the season.
That's all right.
9 shots on goals on the season. So yeah, she's going to be their star player. She's going to be the one that we definitely got to look out for. In addition to her, Addison Baltonado has 3 goals. Sierra Burgeon has 3 goals. Addison Baltonado has 4 assists. Tatum Thomason has 4 assists. Tatum does lead in shots with 37. Sierra has 33. Cameron had 29, as I said, and Addison is 22. And in shots on goal, Tatum looks like she's come the closest with 17. Addison had 15. Sierra had 11, and Cameron only has 9. But that just probably means that she's assisting the rest of those goals. Yeah, so really she's contributing to a lot of them.
I don't want to nobody is Macy, so I don't want to get crazy, but she's right. Macy-like in the way that she looks to assist before she's looking to score.
Water down Macy. We'll say that.
Well, they just play different positions. Like I think she might be a more of an attacking winger player than like a defender like Macy is. I don't know. Whatever. I'm not going to pretend to know everybody's formations, but she seems like she's more on the attacking end always. So yeah, but she's more likely to be looking to assist. And you talked about the BYU game. I'll watch that. And she had one of the prettiest assists in run of play I've seen in a while. It was from the midfield through 4 people on the ground, like curved it around the people where it went right to the foot of her player that was breaking. It might have been the Tatum girl that was breaking down the flank in a way that she just then had a 1v1 opportunity with the keeper and she finished it. Like, she is precise. So she is fun to watch. Hope she's not fun to watch Thursday. We're going to handle that, but she's cool. She's a good player. I think she might be from Canada. I want to say the Addison Baltodano girl is a freshman. I don't know. They have a freshman from South. I'd be thinking of someone else on their team that is pretty tall and she's really fast up top as a forward. That's been kind of starting to kind of come into her own up there. She's fun to watch, but we'll see if she can hopefully not figure it out against us. But they have talent. Like, I know you hate possession teams. I don't know how successful they have been in it at keeping possession in every game, but when they're at their best, they do want possession. They want to build up. They're not a team like that's going to, I mean, they can play direct, but they're not going to like just take shots over the top constantly. They're comfortable, like, Tyler called it hot potato in the back until they have and then they'll go. So this could be another open soccer game, which was what was so fun about Friday, is it's teams that are going to push forward. They'll push people up. They even like their goalkeeper, which I could see us like chipping over their goalkeeper at one point. I think it was Colorado. I've watched them play Colorado and I watched them play BYU, and I'm getting which game it was, but one of them, their goalkeeper was so far out multiple times that passed outside the box. Like just playing, like she's like their back, just playing a midfielder. It's craziness. And I don't know if it was just in the game that they were playing because of the opponent or if it's every time, but the ball got to a midfielder for Colorado who stole it, and the keeper's running, like still trying to get back, and she chipped it over and almost scored from midfield because the keeper wasn't in there, but it hit the crossbar. So something to watch. I'm sure we'll be ready for it. Raleigh's tried that on some people a couple of times this year. So something to watch. I don't know if I think it was Colorado now that I'm thinking of, it was Colorado. And I don't know if that's because that's how Colorado plays. They will play back and just go like deep bomb it, so they didn't have to have people forward. But you know how we like to press and get after people?
Yes.
I don't think she would try that against us because can you imagine? Like that would seem silly. So we might not see that look because we don't sit back. I don't know, but they'll send people forward in attack is all I'm saying, just like TCU will at times. So it's not a team that's going to like hunker down, I don't think, unless we're getting into the territory if they need a draw to get in the Big 12 tournament. And I hope that's not where we are, because I hate when teams start playing that way. But if they're playing like to win, they're going to go at it, and that should give us a lot of opportunities. And coming off a TCU game, Texas Tech is typically really good at correctly fixing things that went slightly wrong in the game before. And we saw that where we played multiple teams in a row that like to play that sit-back style. And man, we got really good at that by the fourth team in a row. We were just dicing people up. Now you have a TCU team and an Arizona State team, 2 in a row, that like to do that possession, like to give you space to play and more open soccer. So I kind of hope we are like, okay, do what you did against TCU, against Arizona State. You're going to have bucos of chances, and I think we'll finish them this time. And defensively, you just got to... I mean, the Cameron girl's really creative. Actually, the whole team is. Like, they're kind of fun to watch, really. They'll make some really good combinations. They just haven't always been able to finish them once they get to the final third. I think it's been their issue of late. But they have some really creative players on their team that play some fun soccer. It's not a boring team to watch. I'll give them that. Both teams I watched. Both games. They won one against BYU. They lost to Colorado. That might have been just the other day. I have not slept at all in the last few days because so busy. So that might have been their most recent game. I can't remember, but I have watched it at some point in the last week. And they lost that one, but they hung around for a while. And then kind of Colorado. It was at home for Colorado, so that's what I remember of them. Just do what we do. We should win, but they play well at home. Scrap your way to a goal and get 3 points. Gotta have it. That's why there's no reason to complain about the top 16 because that's a top 50 RPI opportunity right there. Beat them. You got another one to your name. You'll be in the rankings the next week if you handle Arizona too. Like, it's all ahead of them. But it starts this week. They can't drop points on the road. So we'll see.
We can't drop points on the road, but usually, oddly enough, we have had a road streak that's been continued since 2021, correct?
Yeah.
In the conference play?
We haven't lost. So... We have gotten draws on the road, but we haven't lost.
We're going to for sure get the win. I mean, if you look at the massive ratings, which we know that those have been whatever all season, but, let's just take a look at them. Arizona State's number 41. We're number 10. Their offense is number 54. We're number 25. Their defense is number 48. We're number 11. And it was projected to be a tie earlier in the season, and now we're projected to win. 51% chance to win, and of course they're giving the final score prediction a 2-1. However, that's not going to happen. I'm going to go with a solid 2-0 or a 3-0 win because I really don't. I think Arizona State's broken now, and I just think that we're going to run all over them. And I'm pretty sure that goal that we let up against TCU for that corner had just ignited a fire in this team. And we're like, yeah, bet Baylor's not going to take our Big 12 spot. We're going to go create chaos. So that's who I got. I got a score winning 3-0. I'm going to go 3-0. I'm going with confidence.
Okay. Let's see if they've allowed 3 goals all year. Okay, I'm looking at them right now.
They did against UCF. They lost 2-3. Bet.
Yeah, let's go. That was our most recent game, right? Right? Or no, they beat. I don't even know. My brain hurts. No, they lost to Colorado. I was right. Yeah, sorry guys. It's been a weekend for both of us. The fact that we're even doing this, you're welcome. We love y'all that much. We give a damn. Unlike the NCAA, who, if they were tired, they were just sending their little shit rankings, and that's probably what happened. And they posted them just for, I forgot about Stanford. Our bad. We'll fix it next week. No one's going to notice. Anyway, we would never do that to y'all because we treat these teams with the respect that they deserve, Tyler. We're here every week like we say we will be. Half alive, sometimes half wrong, but we're doing our best. I'm excited to watch them. I'm always excited to watch them. Late game. The cool thing is if you really want to have a fun night, and this is what I'll be doing to some degree while working probably, TCU plays at 7 Central Time because they're at home. And they're home against Baylor. Mm-hmm. It's an interesting matchup for a lot of reasons. As much as I don't want to cheer for TCU, we kind of need somebody to steal a point. I think a draw would be best case scenario. But yeah, so that's going to be a really good game of soccer. Some interesting dynamics between that team. They have players that have best player, their goalkeeper, and their leading goal scorer are from TCU. There's a lot of interesting storylines there that we don't need to get into, but if we covered TCU or Baylor, we would definitely be talking about it. But there'll be some feisty play in that one, and there was last year when they met up. It's in Fort Worth. So it'll be at 7 and we don't play till 9. So you can watch that full game and then watch and you'll know, like, oh, if Baylor lost or got a draw, we have a chance to go into first place if we win that game. That's how quickly it can happen. And then what? Now what, NCAA? Anyway, sorry, I'm going to shut up. I'm really not that mad about the top 16 thing. I'm really not. Because, like, it's like, in a lot of ways, it's like what I said. I'm like, I think Texas Tech should have been about 14, 15, or 16, personally, when I looked at the numbers and did the whole blind ranking thing. Absolutely after that. But if you're putting 4 teams from the Big 12 in the top 10, you can't switch up on me when that should be one of us. Like, that should be us after we beat those teams. As long as they don't switch up. Right. Man, it could be real exciting over the next few weeks. Because if that's how they're ranking teams, we should be in a good spot if we win. And that's what I was talking about earlier. That's not been the case in the past in the Big 12. You get to this point in the season, you have like one big opportunity game left in the regular season. Man, so you have multiple. And then the Big 12 tournament. So this team's got to be like excited to go practice and do all the things. So, any other thoughts on Arizona State?
This is a kind of like funny or not funny stat, but last year on October 10th was when we played Colorado at home, and it was kind of felt the same way. We led almost the entire game, and then they got that goal that tied it, and then we were like, well, dang it, it looked like that could have been a missed opportunity. And on the same date, a year later, we were leading TCU and we let up the goal. But then last year we went on that crazy run. We literally were fighting till the very end to get that Big 12 title. So honestly, this is what you would call with Tom Stone's teams. I would say this is going to be the point in the season where we're going to go on a crazy stretch. And I'm just doing this based on historic stats. So
no, it's the truth.
Get ready, guys. It's true.
That's why you can trust Texas Tech soccer. They will be playing their best soccer in November. The team is starting to play really good right now.
Oh, yes.
And they're going to be really good in November. But, man, you just want them to – now it's like, okay, we got to get 3 points from here on out if we want a top 2 seed. I think this team could surprise some people and maybe win on the road in the postseason as good as we play on the road and the experience we have. I think there's a better chance if we don't get matched up against a 1 seed like last year that this team could do that. And, fine, let's do it on the road. But life's a lot easier if you get a 2 seed and you get to host for 3 rounds in a row. And to do that, they got some work to do. But again, they gave effing Baylor and TCU a 1 and a 2 seed, and West Virginia's 1 out from being a 2 seed right now. You get what I'm saying? So if that's how they're ranking Big 12 teams, you just don't switch up on us when we beat Colorado, and it should be us up there. That's all I'm saying, committee. I am not really going at you right now. I'm going more at the stupid polls. But committee, if you switch up on us when it should be us, I'll have words. All right. Also, shout out Macy Blackburn got honored at the football game in front of a sold-out crowd. Love that. All the people know who Macy Blackburn is. What else you get on football? It's kind of actually, I'm going to give us credit before you get into this. You said we're going to run all over them. We almost had a freaking school record for team, and Cam Dickey almost had a school record for individual. And I think this is going to be a game where our secondary is going to be at times, and that's concerning to me, and it might be closer at half than we're used to. And then we both said, but we'll run away because we're deeper. And I feel like that's exactly what happened. So I know people call us the women's sports podcast, which I will proud of that. But we do cover all sports. And if you only watch us, then you are the podcast that got told exactly what was going to happen in the football game. So you're welcome.
Yeah, no, literally, when we just started to do exactly what we were doing with running the ball, and we were just going more toward our rushing game, and then it's just kind of what we had to go to after events unfolded, and then the whole entire first half getting really scary near the end where it got super close, and then we had to open it wide. I mean, yeah, we did call it there. My main points in this, first of all, again, as I did for soccer, I'll do for football. Shout out to the crowd. I mean, I don't think I've ever seen Tech Athletics. I mean, even in the year whenever we played Oregon 2 years ago, I've never seen Tech Athletics have to put out a tweet to tell students, hey, for your safety, we've already reached max capacity. They had people in the berm area. I mean, everyone was on top of each other. It was so hype. The fans showed out.
It was an hour before the game, returning students away.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it was insane. We were handing out the rally towels, and we had, I think 5,000 of them, and we got rid of them in less than 45 minutes. I mean, people were just there. I mean, they were just going through the gate, and they had to open them early. So shout out to all the fans. Everyone said how loud the stadium was. I mean, that was the loudest that the stadium's been in a while. The Joker faces, that was all cool to bring back for the blackout game. Other than that, shout out to the crowd. That was super hype. But with the
quickly
crowd,
to go on to follow it up, Romello Height after the game thought this was a great quote. He said, someone asked him about the atmosphere because he's a transfer here, right? And he said, "Oh, it's top 2 and not 2. 1 for sure. It was the craziest atmosphere I've ever been a part of." From the guy himself, who's going to be a first-round pick by the end of the year. He should be, because he's tearing it up out there.
I love that. Top 2, but we're number 1.
Yeah, he said we're top 2 and ain't 2 is what basically he said.
I like that. But speaking of what comes with the crowd, just a mini rant here is like we did get 2 15-yard penalties, and Joey did hint that was probably going to happen earlier in the week.
We tried on our show. We told you there's a reason he brought this shit up. Yes. He's not just bringing that up in the Monday press conference because he wants to talk about tortillas. We knew they had been warned or something, and sure enough, get together.
Sure enough, that happened.
Tell him, Tyler.
Yes.
Talk to your fellow students.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. We want to still preserve the tradition, and that's kind of the predicament we're in right now, is that we are preserving the tradition. We said opening kickoff only, and that's already constituted as our first warning. But what's ridiculous is like, okay, then we get our second warning with the video board warning, whatever, and now you're in the third one starts becoming penalties, and what kills me is like, they give us the 15-yard penalty, and then we're continuing to still throw stuff on there, and it's just going to hurt us more and more. Now, and in this game, luckily, our defense came through in the second half, and offense started to break open the score, and it didn't really necessarily, those penalties weren't necessarily like, game-changing penalties, but that could happen. That could happen later down the road, right? I mean, we have some bigger opponents that are coming up that are not going to be Kansas, and the game is going to be in a tight situation, and it's just like, we have got to be mindful, and we have to be, mature about this, because they can easily take these things away from us, right? I mean, I think they're more relaxed, honestly, on bringing tortillas into the stadium than they have been in the past because of the new, our wording and statement on it. But now it's like, just preserve the tradition, but also protect the team, and don't cost us stupid penalties, because it's getting ridiculous. And I mean, and also don't throw other things on the field. I don't know what all happened, and I don't really want to open up that can of worms, but it's like the Kansas coach, I think he has blown some things out of proportion. I don't think it was appropriate for him to cuss Joey McGuire out in midfield. All of that was messy, but I do agree that there just needs to be some repercussions made for people that are throwing things onto the field, whatever it may be, after we're consistently getting penalties. Like, ban them.
Yeah. I mean, if they actually threw something that wasn't a tortilla, I mean, that's expulsion level stuff. If the Kansas coach can prove that, we should support that, whoever that is, to be, I mean, that's assault.
Yeah, no one's saying that.
So, but you just gotta prove, you gotta prove that type of thing. He's saying, we don't need to put it, it's all over the internet and the news. He said that someone threw a knife. If that really happened, a pocket knife, let me rephrase, I'm sure it was closed and all the things. Said it hit a staffer. No one's seen a picture of it, but that doesn't mean that they didn't give it to authorities, and there might be an investigation going on for all we know. And if that happened, and they have it on video, which I'm sure they do, because it's 2025, ban them. Out of here for life. Like, bye. I'm personally fine starting to do that to tortilla tossers, like, at least for the rest of the year, not for life, or like a game or two. Because, I think Joey McGuire summed it up perfectly in his press conference. He said, as I tell my players, when you get personal fouls, you're making it about you. You're hurting your team. It's what he said before, it's a crime against the family is what he calls personal fouls. And he's like, that's what these are to me. He's like, this is not being a Red Raider. Throw it at kickoff. Anything after kickoff, you're making it about you. And that's the truth. Mm-hmm. Whether you're drunk or just stupid, there's really no reason. And hold your fellow students, and it's not just students, I think alumni do it too. Hold people in your section accountable. Like, you are a part of the team, because the team can get penalties. Well, now you can get a penalty, so you're a part of the team. So hold people in your section accountable. Not saying take it to violence. And I said this like weeks ago on our show. Those verbatim, those words came. Hold each other accountable, but just stop it. Grab the tortillas, like, put them somewhere else. And also, this is where it gets slippery slope, is you can throw them throughout the game. You just can't throw them on the field. So, like, if you're like, I came to the game, I want to throw the tortillas, and I didn't get to do it at kickoff, and one fell at me, throw it backwards. I think the saying that we were always told was graduation cap, not frisbee. Throw it like a graduation cap backwards, like when you're at graduation. You throw those straight up in the air. You don't throw them onto the stage.
Up, not out.
So somewhere over the time, these tortillas didn't, when I was in school, they didn't end up on the field like they do now. It wasn't like, I mean, some people did, but like it was like you're throwing them in the air and it's a whole thing. Somewhere along the way, it's gotten worse this year because there's defiant people out there. Stop it. It's not cool. You look stupid. And peer pressure people from stopping. And I'm going to stop ranting about it, but we ranted about it last week. Ranted about it at the beginning of the season, and y'all didn't listen. Maybe y'all did. Obviously, our fans did. But now y'all need to hold other people accountable. Which we met a few of y'all. Shout out to Hell. I'm gonna give you a shout out. He says he watches the show. Me and Tyler were not near each other on Saturday, and somehow this man ran into us in multiple. I was in the press box, and he found me in the freaking parking garage, and he met Tyler in the stadium. So love when y'all come say hey. So I know he didn't throw tortillas. Hell, I will be very disappointed in you if you're the culprit.
Yeah, shout out to all of our fans. We appreciate it when y'all see us and stop by and say hi and support the show. Because as we said on the show, we have been calling all of these things correctly, and we have been warning y'all correctly. Ish. Sometimes we get it right. But going more into the football game itself. Yeah, let's talk like the fun stuff. Right. Yeah. We're done lecturing y'all. So first of all, let's talk about Cam Dickey. Had that 71 touchdown run to really just start the scoring. Just took one play. Absolutely insane. And then afterward, we jumped onto a 14-0 lead. Everything was looking great. And then the game just kind of got a little scary. It seemed like that a lot of our red zone possessions, as we talked about with Houston, we could only convert them into field goals. And then the defense was kind of struggling a little bit near the end of that just because they have that really good quarterback, Jalen Daniels, who was able to throw it down there. And I think also what was kind of hurting the defense was Skylar Jill Howard went down into the game. Was it the second quarter?
It was early.
No, first quarter. Yeah, it was early in the first quarter. But what was the status? Joey made it sound promising. I'm not sure what.
I mean, miraculous recovery, my guy.
Okay.
They put that guy on an air cast. That's never a good sign. So I don't know. Right. Speculating is never a thing you want to do, but best case scenario, I said the person I was sitting next to him, maybe he just dislocated it. Best case scenario, you can pop that sucker in, and it's just a matter of how the ligaments are. I don't know if that's what happened or not, but they thought it was serious enough to aircast it. X-rays came back negative that night, and he was already back on the sidelines for the rest of that game in a boot, but he was in good spirits. And Joey said after the game, he was in such good spirits that they took him to the indoor and had a trainer with him, and he was trying to see if he could come back to play in that game.
Wow.
And the trainer was like, okay, you're not, it didn't go that well. So, like, there were still some things happening there. But the fact they even let him lace up his shoes and try, it tells you that they felt like structurally everything looked okay. Now, that was on Saturday. Things weird can happen overnight and swelling. I don't know. There hasn't been an update since then. We will hear from Joey McGuire the day you're listening to this, Monday, the day this comes out. He'll have his, like, press conference at noon. I'm assuming by then SGH will have had an MRI and all the things. So hopefully there's no ligament damage. And then will we push it? I don't know. But I think it's a good sign that we could get him back later in the year, if nothing else. Maybe it was like a horrific sprain. Like at minimum, like he's got to be some pain there. I don't know what happened. Maybe he's just... It reminded me a little bit of... Remember when Patrick Mahomes dislocated his kneecap on national TV and it was disgusting and it was like literally just there? And then they popped it back into place, and he was like coming back in the same game, trying to. Like it was the same thing, and he was like back right away. So it's possible to do weird things like that, but looks a lot better than it did when it happened, is the best case scenario. Baron Morton, while we're talking about injuries, also went down. McGuire said after the game, same injury as the one that took him out against UAPB, the calf thing. So it's not a structural thing. It's just like a pain tolerance thing. The nerve gets a little weird when it gets hit in that spot. And it's just going to be those things that probably pops up from time to time throughout the year. There's no way to like get over that. But he passed his MRI, I think earlier today was the report that came out a little bit ago. So again, no structural damage. Sounds like he might be able to play because it's a pain tolerance thing. So that's my injury report. You can keep going. No more injuries though. Leave me alone.
Yeah, no more. I know. We can't be having this. We gotta make it all the way through January 15th or whatever the natty is.
That would be impressive.
That'd be very impressive. But yeah, as you said, Morton went down with injury, but when Morton was in, 7 for 12, 58.3% completion rate. Again, None of our passing game really. I mean, we made the plays when we needed them to, but it definitely was not the prominent thing of the night. As we're looking at these, he had 91 yards and 1 touchdown. Will Hammond went 7 for 16, hit about 43%. Again, 42 yards, 1 interception. Again, as we said, the passing game was not the thing all night, but our rushing game was on fire. Cameron Dickey, 21 carries, 263 yards, and 2 touchdowns. And the team put out some superlative that Cam Dickey got. He's the number one. I don't remember the exact wording. Like, that was the most a running back has gotten in a game this season? Or
I would believe that, yeah.
Yes. Okay, it looks like he had the 5th best single game rushing performance in program history. And there was some nation stat. I don't know which one it was, but shout out to Cam Dickey. You did absolutely great. Monster job out there. And then Will Hammond, as we said, passing game may not have been on point, but his rushing game was really great. 8 carries, 61 yards, 2 touchdowns. And we got to talk about the best touchdown of the game where he just absolutely trucked.
I held my breath a little bit. I was like, we already lost Barron. But he survived, so now we can celebrate it.
He did. Yes, now we can celebrate it. Absolutely hype. And then Jacoby Williams, he had 9 carries and 48 yards on the night. And then, as I said, the receivers made the right plays when needed, not so much production scoring-wise. Caleb Douglas had 6 receptions, 55 yards. Reggie Virgil had 2 receptions, 24 yards. And then Terrence Carter Jr., 2 receptions, 28 yards. And he did have a tutty with that. That was over there on the south end zone, I believe, when he made that touchdown.
Open. Bold strategy.
Yes.
Kansas.
I think that was the one where the team tweeted like that was the nail in the coffin in the game when he got that touchdown. So
no, it was the second. It was early in the game, so it wouldn't have been.
Oh, okay. Yeah. He had the early touchdown.
I think he had the second one. Maybe the first is the touchdown of the game.
Okay, so then the later one was probably one of our rushers. That makes sense.
Yeah, I think that was probably Will Hammond. Cam or Will had 2 rushing touchdowns.
Okay.
Yeah, not a lot happening with our passing game, and I think if you had said before the game we're going to have 130 yards passing, I don't know if a lot of people would have been like, we blew them out. Now, I think people would be like, oh, well, their rush defense sucks. Like, we knew that. We talked about it. So we probably just ran it well, but we'd probably assume it was a close game, not we blew them out. So that just says, like, how well we did. And, yeah, Will wasn't super sharp. And I tried to warn y'all people about that when everyone's trying to anoint the kid, like 2 games ago. It's like, it's not always as simple as like enter the game and be a superstar when you're not getting first team reps all week. And so to expect him to do that all the time, like now, eventually when he's the starter next year or whatever, and he's like the dude, it'll be different. But like he's going from not getting first team reps to like having to do it in the game. That's why Utah was so impressive what he did. But like trying to do that consistently is tough. But I thought Mac Leftwich made great adjustments at halftime and kind of shifted to more of like, okay, let's use his legs. Let's let Will Hammond be kind of what he can do and settle in on the ground and mix his running with Cam and just take over the game that way. And that's kind of what we did. And then he made a couple of throws when he needed to, and we won the game. And so I want to give credit to our offensive coordinator. Like I thought he made really good adjustments to the player that he had out there because him and Barron are completely different quarterbacks. So. Like, you have to run different stuff, so I want to give him a shout-out. But, yeah, Will did his job. Only had the 1 interception, the turnover, and then he settled in from there.
Yeah. And then, lastly, we wouldn't have gotten that win without our defense. Didn't allow any points in the second half. Jacob Rodriguez led the team with 14 tackles, and his 1 sack was probably the most important sack of the game. If Kansas could have converted that 3rd down, they probably would have had a chance to keep the game a little bit closer, and he had it, and I think that was when the whole entire stadium... He was. Oh, yeah, that's right, because he was on the questionable, not even probable list earlier in the week. So, yeah, he got that sack, and I kid you not, that was probably one of the louder points of the stadium. I mean, everybody was erupting. So, shout out to Jacob Rodriguez, always doing the damn thing out there. I mean, put him on the Heisman watch list. I mean, come on, guys. Let's do it right here.
David Bailey got a vote for the Heisman last week by some.
Oh, he did?
It was like in an athletic poll, not the real one. So, he was great in this game as well.
He was. 3 sacks, our sack merchant, as we like to call him. Romello Height also had a good game with 2 sacks, and then Anthony Holmes Jr. had 2 sacks as well. So, I mean, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 sacks with them alone.
For sure. If Skylar can't play, Anthony is his backup. And Skylar said, I mean, since going back to spring, I remember Skylar constantly, every chance he could talk about Anthony, or AJ as they call him, Holmes, he did in press conferences. Like, you don't know how good this guy is. Like, this guy's going to be so good. And, like, he constantly, his teammates talk about this guy. And he's played this year, and he's the one that got the tip pass that led to the thick six, as they called it, the pick six from SGH earlier in the year. He's just been coming as a sub. So yeah, I wasn't super shocked that he went in there and instantly did well. He just has to get his endurance up. You can tell he wasn't used to playing that much. But other than that, like, he's a really good player, like, and will be for us. So that was big. But yeah, the defense is what we are. We all know this, if you will. I hope you know this by now. We're a defensive team, but also I think we came into the game like leading the nation in offense too. So I guess we're both, but defense is where we're dominant. I think the nation's starting to see that. Like, there's a lot of people that were texting me from back in North Carolina. They're like, whoa, y'all are really good. I'm like, yeah, where you been? They're like, your defensive line is insane. I'm like, yeah, where you been? Like, they've been on that all year. But I think we play like a real quarterback, and now they're like, oh, y'all did that to Jalen Daniels. It's not like a joke. Right. And if they do it to Sam Levitt next week, which we'll talk about that if he plays, we'll talk about that later in the week, then people will really believe the last bit of naysayers. But we're like up to number 7 or something, so we're running out of naysayers. So starting to get in the thin air. I don't know what to do with myself. We have less haters. I don't know. Well, we have plenty of them now after the Kansas coach, but on-field haters are few and far between now. I love it.
Love it. Yeah. And with that win, we're at least guaranteed to get into a bowl game, so that's really hype. So we will be playing. We didn't even
celebrate that, and that makes me so excited. Every year,
even have a graphic.
They would do like they would do going bowling. Yeah, none of that shit because no one cares. Like, we'd be doing like those bowling celebrations on the videos because it'd be December and we finally and I don't even think I heard it mentioned. I don't think it's been mentioned anywhere besides like, a couple of fans. But like, it definitely was not in the post game, so I don't know. But yeah, I love that. Yeah, let's not stop celebrating. That's why I love college football, but I've always called it a fake sport because I'm like, what is this shit where people are getting to go to bowl games when there are six wins? I mean, can you imagine that? Like in other sports, and they get to pretend like they had a good year. I'm like, you didn't have a good year. You're a mediocre. Like, anyway, we're not in that life anymore. So I'm excited for that. Another team, Tyler, that is absolutely not mediocre, and we saw them go at it today with Odessa College, with softball. They did what they should do. Let's be frank, it's Odessa College. They won 15-0. They only allowed 2 hits, and they played 10 innings. So 2 hits allowed from our pitching staff over 10 innings. I don't care who you're playing. And it's a junior college, and so they have players that will end up in D1 level over time, and they had some good players. Their starting pitcher was solid. I mean, she was hitting 60 and then down. It was mostly like the movement was getting us. Or really just like we were kind of undisciplined, I would say. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe it was crazy movement and we were chasing it because of that. But we were chasing pitches outside the zone the first time through the lineup. And we didn't score for the first 3 innings, which is wild for this lineup. I'm not going to lie. But what makes this lineup so dangerous is it's going to be really tough to get through the lineup again. And as soon as the lineup turned over to the second time, we started hitting that girl. They had to take her out, put someone else in, and then just the last 7 innings of the game, we scored 15 runs, and it was a little bit of a murder show. And they didn't even finish the last inning. We had the bases loaded, and they were like, you just want to call it? And they're like, yeah, let's call it. So, like, it could have gotten worse. I think we walked the bases loaded, and they're like, y'all done? We're done. All right. And we just kind of ended it. So, they're just really good. Caitlin Terry is so fun to watch. Both in the circle and at the plate. I think she went like 5 innings with like 10 or more strikeouts again in this. Nasty. Maybe didn't allow a hit. I don't think she allowed one of the 2 hits. And she had a single, a triple, a stolen base, drove in a few people, and then when she went to first base, she made a crazy play down the right field line in foul territory.
Gosh, yes.
Like, athlete. Insane. What an athlete out there.
She looked great. And then other people that looked great as well. I mean, Loggy got our scoring started with the RBI, sat Grounder out to second. And then later on Mia Williams' at-bat, a wild pitch, brought in our other runner in there. So we were able to jump up 2-0. And then that's how it makes you feel comfortable. And I mean, you look at this year's team, and it's like way more stacked batting average-wise than last year's team. And last year's team literally made it to the championship, came down to game 3. So when you look at that, and we always said last year's team, second time through the lineup, we're likely going to get more production on the board. So you look at this team, I mean, Odessa College found out real quick what happens when you get to the second part of the lineup, and that's what happened. We created opportunities. Lauren Allred had a near homer. Literally, it turned into a triple. Just gets hits. It literally hit the wall, and then it rolled off, and then we were able to get two more runners cross home plate, and then she was able to get a triple off of that. So that was super, super hyped to have her do that. And then we were waiting and waiting.
She might have struck out once, but she got on. She was on base like almost every time. I swear. She was always on base.
Or they were watching her. Yeah.
They hit her in the head one time. They hit her in the head one time.
Oh, yeah. Literally.
Took it like a champ.
Some of these pitches, y'all, some of these pitches were wild. And some of these foul balls almost almost got killed.
Yeah.
Almost got killed. But yeah, we won't talk about it. We survived. And then we kept waiting and waiting and waiting. We're like, all right, we have to give the fans for the last softball game, fall ball game versus scrimmage is different. So game against the actual opponent. We were waiting and waiting for a home run, and our girl Taylor Panel came through with the homer, only one of the night, went out to left field, I believe.
Over the trees.
Over the trees. I mean, she was having a night. We knew she was really on the brink each at bat. We were like, all right, we're getting there. Mm-hmm. Some of them were almost all the way near the wall, and they were making some great, crazy plays in the outfield.
Some good plays.
Yes. Finally, though, we were able to come in clutch. And then on the other side, as far as pitching goes, Sam Lincoln came in, and I think this was the first time you and I were trying to recall, but Sam hit 73 miles per hour today, I think, on the thing.
She was feeling it today, yeah.
She was feeling it. She was getting a lot of strikeouts. I mean, she was feeling herself today. She looked really great, and that's what makes it look scary because, let's just say we have 3 aces in the circle at this point.
That's the plan. They really believe in Sam Lincoln, and we've talked about it. She's been going up against these All-Americans as a sophomore every day, and I feel like she's these last couple of weeks where they've gotten to play some new people and maybe slowed it down a little bit in fall. They haven't played as many scrimmages. You can kind of tell she's taken some steps forward and some confidence and stuff. And she was doing good early in the fall. Don't get me wrong, but then it's you might strike out 2 batters, and now you got to face death row. So it's horrible, and you had to do three times a week, and I'm like, bless her heart. Give her somebody. So it's hard to get confidence. It's such a mental sport, and that's what made KT so impressive, that she was doing that every day, and it was but she's used to that because she's been an ace at UCLA. That's not a role Sam's had yet, but they're trying to make her into one, so I'm hoping she get there. Desi was really good too in the circle. She pitched. Yeah. She's fun. She does that crow hop thing where I posted a picture. She's full blown in the air like a horse when she's pitching. She jumps so high in the air and both feet are off the ground, which didn't used to be legal, I don't think, but it is legal now. And she gets a lot of power that way, so she's fun to watch too. She might have a bigger role than maybe we thought she would.
Oh yeah,
we'll see.
Yeah, she looked really great. And then before we wrap up softball, Logan Holloman today had a beautiful bunt. She's able to get to first base, and granted, the poor Odessa College defense. Yeah, there was some really
they made some spectacular plays, but then they were
they did. There was some where we were oh well, you could have at least if y'all didn't want this game to keep continuing, just throw the ball and get her out. I don't who cares if y'all get a run on the board, but whatever, it's fine. It really showed how aggressive we were, honestly, with stealing bases. And when you have speedsters like Logan Holloman, Michaela Garcia, all them out there, definitely, teams are going to be in for trouble. And they're going to have to be on point, and they're going to have to make those plays to get outs. Otherwise, they're screwed.
Yeah, and that's a great point because, again, we were being held scoreless, and we started the 4th inning with the lineup got turned back over, and so it was Michaela as the 9 hitter, followed by Logan at the top of the lineup, and so you had your back-to-back speedsters, and they manufactured a run because they did what you said. MK got on, I think she tried to steal a base, and then Logan put the ball down. They overthrew first. They made a bad play, and then on that, MK so fast she came all the way around and scored. And then Logan got to 3rd, and then we brought her in, and it was all of a sudden 2-0. It wasn't flashy, but we got points on. We had kind of broken the seal, and that's what this team is capable of still. We got all these home run hitters, all that, but you kept a player in Logan and MK, who people haven't seen a lot of. They know her from the World Series stealing home. But you have those will be your 2 true really speed havoc players this year that will get in, whether they're pinch hitting or in the lineup, that can do that. Where sometimes, listen, the best hitters sometimes are having off days, and it's mental, and you just need to see that scoreboard have a run on it. Let's put the 2 little menaces out there,
small ball,
create some havoc, get us on the board, and then we'll take over there and blow it out. And that's kind of what happened. They started it and got it done. So they're fun to watch. Logan Holloman, torpedo of speed. It's been the thing. I don't have to come up with something for MK, but she's fast too, for sure. And she has some good pop. Like she almost got, I think it was her, maybe it was Logan, like took off the pitcher's glove up the middle. Literally, like it came off her hand. The ball was hit so hard. So yeah, they have some good, they're fun to watch. Everybody had good moments in this.
For sure.
Like the whole team.
We looked really great.
And Maya Davis
really
didn't play either. So like you got a lot of different people in there too, and you did all that without her. So another speedster. Of course, she is the speed queen, let's be clear. Logan and MK are right below, but she leads that off too.
A lot of opportunities this upcoming season. But yeah, if you haven't caught them yet, Tuesday's your last chance to catch them. Other than you're not going to get a sneak peek until February when we open up.
And we'll be on the road for a while,
season.
so
yeah, so we're not even going to get to watch them at home. So yeah, we're going to play a lot of road games. So yeah, y'all just stay tuned, watch them if you can on Tuesday, and yeah, this team's going to do something special. We're already calling it. Natty champs.
Go check out our pictures that we posted. Man, they were having a good old time. Vic, I don't know what Vic was doing, some gymnastic move, and I caught it in a picture.
Oh my gosh.
It's hilarious. And like 3 or 4 players have put it on their story, but they've taken that picture and they put it on their story and they've zoomed in so it's just Vic on their story doing the thing.
My God.
It's cracking me up, like 3 different players. Anyway, this team has good vibes. You can tell the chemistry's good is all I'm saying. And they're getting to know each other. So that's a big part of winning. And so it's good to see that that's come together. So yeah, you can go check out those pictures. They're on Instagram, the full album, and a couple are on Twitter.
Hilarious.
Yeah, that'll wrap up our show. Volleyball dropped another one to Kansas State, but they do have a week off. Hopefully they can regroup, but no rest for the weary, really, because it's the Big 12 and everybody's good, and they get another top 25 team on Saturday, but it is at home. And BYU is very good at volleyball, and for whatever reason, we've played them in Provo the last 2 years. They finally had to come to Lubbock, so maybe take advantage of it. I have family in town, so I don't think I would go. But we'll talk about that more on Friday's episode, because that'll be the preview episode for their game. But that's volleyball. Tennis is up to some good things. Maybe we'll update you next week on them, because they're finishing up ITA regionals and qualifications for the NCAA tournament that will be coming up for individual type events, like singles and doubles will be coming up soon. So we'll get into them next week once we know who made it. Other than that, any final thoughts, Tyler?
Shout out to Red Raider Nation again for showing up for our Pack the Walker movement and Pack the Jones movement. Y'all did a great job. And let's keep doing it for the rest of the time this season.
Yeah, Red Raider Nation showed out, especially the community. I would say that at soccer for sure. The students couldn't be there. Soccer usually gets a lot of Greek life support, and they couldn't because the parade was going on. And it just seemed like there was a lot more older fans at this game than we've seen. And I'm like, I don't know where you came from, but please come back. You heard the call, so let's come back for the next game.
For sure.
All right. As always, that's all we got. So, rack 'em.
Rack 'em.